So I'm Jonny Young. I'm an athlete on the British Canoeing Paracanoe programme. I broke my back in 2012, and then I kind of went through a recruitment process with the British Paralympic Association as a part of a Road to Rio drive. So when I left school, I went and did a year's training to become a canoe, kayak, climbing, mountain biking, skiing instructor, amongst others. And then it was 2012 when I broke my back skiing that I kind of learned that something was going to have to change. So as I lay there, the helicopter kind of came and took me off. And the initial prognosis was the surgeon, after I'd been through an MRI scan, he said, "You've had a bad break of your lower lumbar spine. To give you the best chance to be able to walk again, we need to operate." So they then whipped me into surgery, and 12 hours later I woke up with, like, in a bright white room, a little bit dazed and confused, with a lot of tubes coming in and out of me. But the wording that the surgeon used there was, to give you the best chance of being able to walk again, we need to operate. And the operation went well. They fused the spine from T12 to L4. They plucked bone fragments out of the spinal cord at L2, and they reattached nerve endings, which I think was relatively sort of groundbreaking stuff. Maybe not groundbreaking stuff, but advanced medicine that they were doing on me. And then it was just a complete unknown as to how big an impact it was. It wasn't a complete spinal cord injury, so there was some of the cord intact, but we didn't know what function that would mean for us. Over the course of the next 2 weeks, I started to get a wriggle back in my left toe and a little bit of like quad activation. And then 5 months later, when I was discharged from Stoke Mandeville Hospital, I was on crutches, a full leg caliper, and could sort of manage about an hour at a time on my feet max. But I made a point to walk out of hospital. But then the course of the next 2 years is when it's been like, well, it's unknown how much rehab I'm going to get, so just keep sending signals down and seeing what can happen. And yeah, like I've gone on leaps and bounds since then. So the concept of sport, I guess, was in me that I enjoyed sport before my injury. And I'd kind of worked out in hospital that the injury wasn't going to change who I was as a person. And there was fundamentals of my life that would remain. And so I could see that sport was an outlet for me to enjoy a lot of the experiences that I had before my injury, and also a chance to just feel normal again and to build strength and build it all back in. So I threw myself into full-time athlete life. And at that point, it was learn from every professional that was around me. You know, I had a technical coach that was teaching me how to paddle a boat better than I'd ever paddled before. I had a strength and conditioning coach that was working with me. I had a physio that was working with me. And it was through the physio sort of department that the reformer got introduced as well, that it was just another piece of equipment that could aid my rehabilitation. And it could be done in a more gentle, friendly way to my body than some of the heavy lifting exercises in the gym, but also a much more challenging tool for me to use, because it meant that I had to work on the weaknesses, that it really targeted the bits that needed to develop. And for me, it was, I mean, the concept alone was enough for me to buy into that. It was like, I want to challenge the bits that are weak to make them strong. I don't want to rely on trick movements and the strength as a bypass. I want to restore normality as much as I can. It helps me to switch on so that I'm firing on all cylinders. And regardless of my performance then, it means that I'm delivering my best. And if that wins me medals, great. And if it doesn't, so be it. But I'm actually delivering better when I'm using everything. It's really good to see the studio in person, to see it come together, because I've heard Holly like passionately talking about it, and it was great to have that passion behind the project and to see it come together as a statement of this is something that is going to have an impact. I think that's really powerful.